How's it going, Football Daily family, and welcome back to Fan Hour. For the next 60 minutes, we're going to be answering all of your burning questions. We've got Christopher the Hamster Hammer with me. I've got Patrick Van Straten with me. We've also got some idiots in Social Corner. But first, we are in association today with Colossus Bets, giving you a shot at £800,000 from as little as 20p. Hit the link in the description below to get involved. Last weekend, we did pretty well yet again.
We won again, baby.
8 out of 8 at the end of Saturday. We actually had a cash out offer of £4,563.
What?
Pretty decent. We took 20% cash out of that, and everybody that took part doubled their money at least. That was over 100 of you. I think at the end of the weekend, we finished on 11 out of 15. Arsenal, one of the teams to let us down, unsurprisingly.
So we're in form.
We're in real good form. If you want to earn some easy money, click that link in the description below. But we have got some idiots in Social Corner today, and one of them's not Adam Templeman.
That's the second idiot.
It is me, Zach Jellum, and Peter Dorman, our resident Northern Irishman. But Pete, what is our first question?
The first question comes from King Keeks 2000, and he asks, #FanHour, who is the most overrated footballer and manager?
Thanks, our resident Northern Irishman.
What? Just in world football. What a way to kick things off.
With
positive
overrated.
vibes.
Overrated. We do like the
Should
positivity,
we
don't
say
we?
overrated in the Prem just to narrow it down?
Okay.
I mean, pretty alarming scenes that Alan Pardew got given the West Brom job, although I think he's good enough to keep them up. Allardyce, what's his best finish in a Premier League season? 6th with Bolton way back when. I think his highest is probably 10th since then with Blackburn. But look at the state of them now. Can you think of any others that immediately spring to mind?
Are you just going for managers here?
Moisey's pretty
Yes,
bad.
let's start with
Moisey's
managers.
not bad. Moise, he's not bad. Paul Clement, he seems to have a reputation wherever he goes, and he's always poor.
I feel like
is overrated.
I feel like these are all decent managers, but time is just forgetting them.
Yeah,
and over the last 2 or 3 years, the Premier League has evolved tactically like tenfold, hasn't it?
What about players then?
I think you're being generous by putting Pardew in there with people like Allardyce.
I'm a nice bloke.
Allardyce, say what you like about Allardyce. Allardyce has a system and his teams play a certain way. Pardew just turns up and tries to get them all going, but he's an idiot.
And Allardyce did go off to America, didn't he? He did bring that element of sports science back with him. He doesn't look like the sort of guy who was forward thinking, but he was once upon a time. But players, overrated players. It's never nice to talk about overrated.
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm going to go for...
You do all the time.
Liar. I'm going to go for Gary Cahill.
Okay.
Not Gary Cahill's biggest fan, yet he is continuously... I believe he's Chelsea captain.
Yeah, he's been benched a couple of times this season.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not particularly surprised. I'm surprised it's taken this long to get him out of that Chelsea team. I don't think he's that great defensively. He's not a ball-playing centre-half. What is he?
People are really negative about Cahill, and as a result, I sort of think he's underrated. I think he's a perfectly decent centre-back. Like, that's the problem, right? Like this is a question about how people's perception doesn't line up with reality. So, for instance, N'Golo Kante, everyone would agree, is a great midfielder. But when he comes in like 8th or something for the Ballon d'Or, he has been overrated. Like there are no two ways about it. He's not the 8th best player in the world. He hasn't been the 8th best player in the world over the last year. However, if I say he's overrated, it sounds like I think he's not good, and he clearly is. So it's difficult. I mean,
I think with Chelsea last season, they were almost more than the sum of their parts. Like Gary Cahill worked really well with Azpilicueta, worked well with David Luiz, but they all have inadequacies individually. Maybe not Azpilicueta. He's like Mr. Consistent, isn't he? Overrated at the top clubs. Maybe Granit Xhaka. Not really done it for me so far for £14 million.
I actually agree. I think it's a good shout. What does he do? He's not a defender and he's not an attacking midfielder.
He's a really good distributor. Like last,
he has got a ping.
Thing is, the second half of last season, he was absolutely sensational, and now he's terrible again. Like, I mean, it's almost like Arsenal don't have a functioning midfield structure. Like, I mean, Granit Xhaka, I think, is a fair shout. Like, though at the moment, I think the fan base is really down on him. So arguably, that's a little bit off. I mean,
a couple of people here, Danny Linehan and Carlos Sola, both say Lukaku. What's your reaction to that?
People jumping all over this Lukaku bandwagon at the moment because he's scored, 2 in his last 13?
He scored 16 in the 13 before that.
He'll come good again, won't he? The derby was not good for him. Was he the one that threw milk at someone?
No, the Man City players threw milk at Jose Mourinho. A few other people. Sam FB says for manager Jurgen Klopp. Potentially slightly overrated in that top half.
Whenever his sort of back's against the wall, whenever I seem to be able to build a consistent argument that he may be overrated. His team then go on absolute tears. And however, I do think it was silly at the weekend not to start his best players in the derby game. Had a really good chance to catch up with Chelsea on 32 points, I believe. And he didn't ultimately drop Coutinho, Firmino, and they drew, didn't they? So he does make odd decisions for me, but overrated probably be a little bit harsh. I reckon we should move on. Nasty question.
Yeah, next question.
This one comes from Herman's German, and he asks, girls and boys love Pogba. Do you think he was right to choose Manchester United over Real Madrid in the summer? Last summer, I guess.
Go on. You're Paul's biggest fan.
I do love Paul Pogba. I don't know, it's a bit of a weird one because he obviously had this connection to Manchester United, because I think although United obviously offered him obscene amounts of money and his agent obscene amounts of money, which is ultimately the real reason he joined the club, I do think that he would... The one thing I'll say, if you go to Real Madrid, that's pretty much the pinnacle of your career. I think if he goes to Man United, he could still get to a very, very high level and then go to Madrid. He's still very young. I think he probably will end up at Real Madrid at some stage.
That's quite a sad argument.
I know,
as a Manchester United.
I know, it is, but...
He could still go to Real Madrid after United.
But I know.
He should have aspirations to be the biggest club in the world.
Of course, but as we've seen everywhere and throughout probably the past 20, 30 years, every single player wants to end up at Real Madrid. We've seen it with Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo is the best player in the world, and at the end of the day, there's something about Real Madrid that draws these big players in.
I think you touched upon it first. I think Real Madrid was always sort of Ronaldo's end goal, whereas at least Manchester United seems to be Pogba's spiritual destination. He definitely has more to do at Manchester United than he would in a midfield that comprises of Luka Modric, Toni Kroos, Kovacic.
I kind of think he likes that.
And the likes.
I will say that. He likes being the superstar.
He's the biggest player in the world, and he's playing in the biggest league. He's earning a lot more money than he would in La Liga, that's for sure, Pato.
Yeah, I mean, if the only options are Real Madrid and Man United, I think he absolutely made the right choice. I think Mourinho is a better manager than Zidane. Will improve him more, like certainly defensively. On the other hand, I think there are managers out there who'd improve him more than that. I think, for instance, if he'd had the option of going to Man City and working under Pep Guardiola, that would have been better. He obviously was fantastic under Conte in Serie A, so that would have been quite fun if he'd gone to Chelsea as well, or even Bayern Munich. I'd have liked to have seen him at. But yeah, I mean, Real Madrid, that midfield is pretty much impregnable. Like you can't get into it. Kovacic can't get into it, and he's one of the best young midfielders in the world. So I quite like that Pogba's gone to a place where he's been allowed to do all the things that make Pogba great. Because one of Pogba's chief strengths is the sheer breadth of his ability. You know, he can do a bit of everything. So I'm just glad he's in the Prem. I love watching him, even if it's playing for a scumbag team like Man United.
Oh, there we go. Right, next question.
Next question comes from Mark O'Neill, and he asks, if the rumours are true, what will Nzonzi change at Arsenal?
Pato?
Yeah, well, the rumour is that Arsenal have closed a deal with Steven Nzonzi to join from Sevilla in January. Now, he's 28 years old, soon to be 29. But I actually think he'd be a good sign. Would I rather go out and get somebody a bit younger? Sure. But Nzonzi is a reliable midfielder, does a lot of defensive work, great passer, can move the ball up the park because he's incredibly strong.
It's always a good sign.
People off. He's quite Moussa Dembele, like in that way.
When someone like Georges Sampaoli sort of makes him the fulcrum of his system. Obviously, a very demanding coach. He was very reliant on Nzonzi's output, his ability to carry the ball, wasn't he? And I think that extra responsibility at Sevilla has made him 10 times the player we saw in the Premier League. So he would come back to England a very different player. I think you said it to me outside of Fan Hour. We do converse outside of Fan Hour.
Really?
That he's a more attractive prospect now. He's at a club like Sevilla, but when Arsenal were going in for him when he was at Blackburn, the fans were in uproar.
They weren't in uproar, but it was just kind of
uproar. You specifically said.
He's not that exciting. You know, like he seems like a more glamorous prospect now, and to a certain extent, I think particularly in Arsene Wenger's case, making transfers seem glamorous has actually been a big part of his job. Like it's really difficult to get fans excited. Like say we'd gone for we got El Neni a couple of years ago from Basel. Say we'd got Ki Sung-young from Swansea, who's actually a better version of that player. Yeah. I think people would have been more annoyed because they don't see that as an exciting option. And Nzonzi would definitely add some versatility to the midfield. He's 28. But then again, Man City signed Fernandinho when he was 28, and if you think about it, they're reasonably similar skill sets. And I would love a Fernandinho at Arsenal. So it would give Arsenal the opportunity to play that one in midfield and play a 4-1-4-1 or play 3 or play 2.
He's not reliant on pace. He's better defensively than Coquelin. And he can probably carry the ball better than Xhaka.
And he is cheap.
He can definitely carry the ball better than Xhaka. I don't know. I mean,
I think he ticks all the boxes if you can get it for a reasonable price.
Yeah, I think the talk is literally like 20 million euros.
Oh, I think it would be more like 30. But
even 30.
As a January side, if you're going to double down on trying to get to the Champions League, trying to get the top 4, then why not do it? It's only 30 million.
Because I think he's had a big fallout with the Sevilla board, hasn't he? And the Sevilla management. He walked straight out of the stadium, right? After he was substituted against Liverpool, he hasn't come back.
And you know what? 30 million isn't all that much for Arsenal.
They're
going to get a huge amount off the wage bill. So I think it'd be quite fun.
Yeah, if he gets you top 4 football, it's definitely worth the money. Right, next question.
This one comes from Don't At Me, and he has suggested, or she, if you only had one transfer and a budget of £30 million, Chris, you only get 18 million. Who would you bring into your club in January?
I mean, that is quality. 18 million is like the top level for Scotland.
Well, our biggest sale is still Van Dijk at 12.5. Our biggest purchase is still, I think, Hartson and Sutton at 6.5. So I'm pretty stoked that I get to spend 18 million.
No, you might have to sign a striker though.
You boys go first with 30 because I think that's easier for you, right? I mean, what? Nzonzi could
Arsenal could do better.
Easily fit the bill.
I don't really know who United could pick up for £30 million.
Well, Lindelof was 30, so someone in that mould, Portuguese league?
Yeah, potentially.
What about the right back from Porto?
I don't know whether I would spend £30 million on a position that we like. The right back area for Manchester United is a position that, in the long term, we have to get right because Valencia is getting no younger, and although he has been consistently good for a couple of seasons, I think we're going to have to spend big on getting a replacement there. I'd potentially maybe, if you're going to spend £30 million, maybe get another central midfielder in.
Okay.
I'm not going to say.
I think it buys you less in central midfield though than it would at say left back.
Yeah, it may. Again, left back, I would rather spend the 50 and get Danny Rose. I would rather spend the 50 and get Danny Rose.
Fair enough.
But I would probably go for someone in a similar mould to Danny Drinkwater, who is not going to be a starter for you, but offers depth. I think United have really lacked depth in midfield this season. I think at the weekend it was horribly exposed by Man City when we had Herrera, Matic and Lingard in there. It's just not good enough to play against a team like Manchester City. So I would personally get a young central midfielder. Who that is, I'm not too sure. I haven't got a name off the top of my head, to be honest, but I'd look at getting a midfielder in.
Well, talking about not having a name, we're heavily reliant on our scouting network. Just this week, we've been linked with someone from RB Leipzig. He's a 32-year-old centre-back. We definitely need reinforcements at centre-back. Dedrick Boyata and Jozo Simonovic. Not so much found out at Champions League level, that's a little bit harsh, but prone to blips in concentration, and you tend to get that with defenders who are playing beyond themselves when they play in the Champions League. It happened to us a lot under Lennon as well. The thought of Efe Ambrose lining up against Juventus springs to mind. That was harrowing scene. So I'd maybe go out there, look for a centre-back, go to League and very fertile breeding ground for talent, maybe spend 10 million on a player, or you know what, just lump it all on Paddy Roberts. Another winger.
You probably get. What about if you lose Musa Dembele in January?
I think we'd get if we were to lose him at any given point, January or the summer, we'd definitely get 30 million for him.
Brighton seems to be the most likely destination.
I'm not sure he'd go to Brighton.
Really?
He's got quite a savvy agent. Yeah, I mean, they turned down West Ham, and no doubt West Ham were probably offering him stupid money per week. But yeah, a centre-back. But maybe you suggest in the comments who it should be for 18 million. What a question.
Someone said to me on the United one, Goretzka. Maybe go for Goretzka. You probably could get him for 30 million.
You get him for less. He goes on a free.
Yeah, so then that would be a decent option.
Yeah, or even Mahmoud Dahoud, who hasn't really been fitting in well at Dortmund. You might be able to get him. From Arsenal's point of view, I'd either go for a young attacker, like a Julian Brandt, who might be able to go because he's got a buyout, or Gonzalo Guedes.
Andy Dorbar says Kovacic.
There's no way you get him for 30 mil. You'd be lucky to get him for
Gonzalo
twice that.
Guedes, yeah, of course.
Or Alban Lafont, the young keeper from Toulouse. Arsenal are going to need a keeper to replace Petr Cech, and he's one of the best young prospects around.
Ooh, next question, lads.
Next question comes from Tiny Temps. Hopefully that's no relation to Adam Templeman, as his social media output is horrendous. Anyway, Tiny Temps asks, looking at the table at Christmas, who do you think is getting relegated?
Oh.
Well, not Burnley.
Brighton.
Swansea.
Newcastle.
Newcastle.
Yeah, I really don't think they've got the squad to stay up.
Yeah,
no
their
wonder
attacking
Rafa
line's
Benitez
horrendous.
was livid in the summer that he didn't get the targets he wanted. He's got Joselu spearheading that attack. Joselu's never scored over 9 goals in the league campaign.
But do you not think they've got? I kind of feel like Newcastle have at least got the spending power to go out in January and solve the situation. I don't know whether.
But they're in the midst of selling the club, aren't
Yeah,
they?
it's
It's very
difficult.
up in the
That's
air.
true. That's a really good point.
And I think it's only thanks to their manager that they even stand a chance at the moment. Although West Brom have slipped in, haven't they, as well? A similarly uninspiring team. But I think they've got more talent than Newcastle in there, haven't they? So I think they'll be okay. Palace, I think they'll be okay. So Newcastle could be in real trouble for me.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think Palace will escape it under Pardew. Is it? No, he's at West Brom. West Brom, sorry, will escape it under Pardew. I think Palace are in real trouble under Hodgson. I think it will be them, Brighton, and Swansea.
I mean, Swansea, I find it hard to disagree with. Brighton are pretty bad as well. After that, I look at Bournemouth and I look at Stoke. And I think Huddersfield are good enough. Bournemouth, Stoke, you think of too much talent, but they've got a dreadful manager and they've been shipping goals like nobody's business. Bournemouth are pretty much bad across the board, so I don't really know. Like Palace, the thing is about Palace is they're playing well and not getting the run of results at the moment, so I think they'll probably rebound.
Yeah, they just climbed out at the weekend as well, didn't they? Or was it yesterday?
Yeah, they're in 17th now,
Yeah,
so who knows?
So he's done well to sort of stop the hemorrhaging.
Yeah, right, next question.
Well, considering Chris mentioned Burnley, this brings us to our next one from Stephen Taylor, and he asks, can Burnley realistically make the top 4 this season?
No.
If Dyche keeps sacrificing those goals, whatever he's doing, whatever black magic he's doing down at Turf Moor, it seems to be working. I don't know how a team who creates 2.4 shots on goal per game is sitting pretty in 4th at Christmas with those players. Fair play to him.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think we said in the office earlier, weren't we? Not enough credit, maybe.
He can set up a very decent defence. His talent recruitment's not been that bad as well. His transfer dealings, the likes of Tarkowski have impressed me. Even bringing in someone with Defoe's experience for what was that, 8-9 million, maybe a little bit more in the mid-teens maybe. But he sort of bought well, and I like the way Burnley run. They invested in infrastructure, in their training ground, instead of going out and spunking it on players. And they stuck with Dyche when they went down, and they came straight back up and solidified their position. You know, they've been doing it bit by bit. Already only 10 points behind their total, 15 points behind their total from last season or something?
I mean, last season I think 8th place finished on 45 points, and they're on 31 already. So I think they'd be perfect. Burnley are not. They're not going to finish top 4, and they're not interested in finishing top 4. They're just in. If they can get top 10, they'll be absolutely delighted. Burnley. Yeah. They're. I think I saw the wage, like a wage graph today, and I think their average wage is like 26,000. That's when you think like Mourinho is paying players 200,000 alone. So they'll be delighted wherever they finish. We've gone for them at the weekend to beat Brighton as part of our syndicate. If you want to get involved and agree, then click the link in the description below. Pato, do they have enough to see off Brighton?
Yeah, but Brighton are real bad.
Yeah, it's away from home as well.
Brighton are terrible. They've got Pascal Gross, and that's about it.
Yeah.
They've got nothing else.
That's got 1-0 written all over it, hasn't it? And that's why we went for it.
Yeah, but we've gone for that. We've also covered the draw as well, so you're far more likely to make a little bit of money. Click that link in the description below if you want to get involved. Let's go back to Social Corner and get the next question.
The next question comes from Pablo Escobar, who provides us with our title question.
Brilliant.
And the question is, Chelsea are rumoured to be attempting to hijack Arsenal's deal for Thomas Lemar. What do you think of it, and where would he fit in at Chelsea?
I'm not that interested in Thomas Lemar. I wasn't interested in him in the summer either. I mean, Thomas Lemar's a decent player. He had a great season last season when everybody over-converted the chances he created, and pretty much everything he hit went in, which is what happened across the board at Monaco. So this season he seems to be having a much more reasonable campaign, but as a result his numbers have slipped off, and I don't think anyone's going to pay 90 million for him. Chelsea would make a lot more sense to me. They do need some more creative talent. They've got a lot of sort of workman-like guys. Willian is good, but Pedro sort of does a job as opposed to really creating a bunch. If Hazard's out and Fabregas is obviously getting on now, I don't know where the creativity comes from in that team.
I'm very unconvinced.
Conte's second highest scorer, you know.
No, but that he
Tenure,
doesn't
but-
create. Like,
Yeah,
I think
he almost plays like a number 10 sometimes, doesn't he? Just floating.
Well,
around.
yesterday
He doesn't
in
really-
the game that Chelsea won against Huddersfield, Hazard was playing as a lone striker.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
like
Willian had an absolute
a storm,
blindy
an absolute storm.
as well. But a lot of creativity comes from the wing back, so I think they could probably do with a Lemar, and I guess he would fit in on the other side from Hazard.
I think it would have been a terrible deal at 90 million. In
Yeah.
that sort of like
Such a risk.
post Neymar 2 weeks. Like I think even 40 to 50 was a huge risk.
Yeah, I agree.
And this is a guy who's been outperformed by Florian Thauvin in pretty much every department this season. You know, the former Newcastle reject, who's now captain of Marseille. He's picked up a tremendous amount of form and is one of the most dangerous wide man in League 1 at the moment, more so than Thomas Lemar. So 80, 90 million, not for me.
Yeah, right, next question.
Our next one is, with West Ham having beat Chelsea on the weekend, how do you feel the rest of their season will go, and will they beat Stoke this weekend?
Moise.
They've got a big game tonight against Arsenal to get past first. Where is that?
That's at the London Stadium.
Ooh,
So that's a tough
game.
place to go.
What are you expecting from that one? First?
Tesco. Ring.
I wouldn't expect us to win it. On the other
Really?
hand, like, we are quite a lot better than them. They're not very good at football. I think that they've been pretty good in their last 2 games, which are tough fixtures. Like, they could have well got a point against Man City as well. Like, they probably should have enough to beat Stoke, because Stoke, like I say, are a bit of a shambles. And when you look at West Ham, as much as we laugh at them, like, there's talent there. Lanzini's a really good player. Arnautovic he should get you 10 to 15 goals a season. He's pretty reliable. Hernandez the same. So there is actually talent in that squad, far more than there are in other ones. Like, some of the players that people love in this league are absolutely dreadful, and as a result, people end up undervaluing players who overall are pretty reliable. Arnautovic is annoying, but he will get you a decent number of
But do you
goals.
think he'll get you a decent number of goals under Moyes?
I don't see why not.
I don't think he will. I
don't see why he'd get any more under Bilic or he did under Hughes. So Hughes is an appalling manager.
But he didn't get many goals there either, did he? I think
he got 10 or so a season. That's pretty decent.
I think once Chicharito's back fit,
John Walter's numbers.
I struggle to see where he fits into the team, Arnautovic.
Well, unless you play 2 up front, but I think they might want to consider playing 2 up front. Like, I mean, if that's the best way to get Arnautovic in, people aren't really going to. Their board, I'm not sure, is going to tolerate having a £25 million player sit on the bench.
Yeah, and also let's not forget David Moyes' treatment of Chicharito at Manchester United. Not his biggest fan, to say the least. So
yeah,
I
but
don't
the
know
way
whether,
you perceive him at United, and the way you
of
perceive
course,
him
but
at
he might
West
not.
Ham.
He might not fit into a David Moyes system
Sure,
whatsoever.
who
So
knows? Yeah.
I'm not sure. But we have gone for them to beat Stoke on the weekend. Forget the Arsenal game for now. We've gone for them to beat Stoke or draw. It's at Stoke, but Stoke are shocking at the moment. It's all gone wrong for Mark Hughes, so I think West Ham get a result there.
They can't stop conceding. That's the
No,
problem.
I mean that's despite spending 18 million on Wimmer, bringing Kurt Zuma in on loan. That's embarrassing.
They got in a stack of left-footed centre backs though, and like it's
And they
quite.
still got Bruno Martins Indy as well.
Yeah, they got Bruno Martins in it. So it's quite difficult because they've got a bunch of guys who can play on the left of a back three, but they're pretty much relying on Zuma to do everything else on the other side. So
What do you think of West Ham, Hamster?
I don't mind them. I think they could be a perfectly functional side. I actually, yeah, as you said, thought they were a little bit unlucky against Manchester City. Really troubled the citizens from set pieces. They have a less expansive but much clearer way of playing, it would seem now, having only watched from the last 2 games, but that tends to happen when a new manager comes in. If there's any dissent or any ill will, I can see it all falling to pot. Moisey, not the most, doesn't strike me as the best man manager.
No.
Does have a tendency to rub people up the wrong way, and that West Ham squad appear to be on a precipice of well, they have done a meltdown for a number of years now. But I think it will be tough for Arsenal if West Ham play to their strengths. It's very, very dependent on what personnel is fit, because if Andy Carroll's fit, if Chicharito is fit, then they have every chance.
Yeah, I mean, a great result against Chelsea, but a hard game tonight. Hopefully, though, on the weekend, because as I said, we have gone for West Ham to beat Stoke on the weekend, an easier fixture. If you agree with us that they'll get the result and want a chance at winning £800,000 from as little as 20p, hit the link in the description below to get involved. Over 100 of you did it last week, and you all doubled your money, so well worth a punt. Let's get the next question, though.
The next question comes from Mitchell Tidbull, and he asks, who will be the biggest transfer of the January window?
Ooh, I'm going to go for Johnny Evans to Manchester City for £30 million. I reckon Johnny Evans will join Man City in January, and it'll maybe even more than 30 mil. I think West Brom might really milk it.
That's insane.
Pretty feasible.
That's insane money.
I actually think, can you think of any business that's been conducted in January that's been good? Because I can think of an awful lot of bad business.
Very little business.
What about your respective clubs?
Nemanja Vidic was a very good signing for United in January, although again
Arshavin was a January signing.
took a long time to get settled, Nemanja Vidic. But I also think Danny Rose is in with a big shout of moving in January. I think he wants that England starting berth at left back, and quite frankly, with the form of Ben Davies, he doesn't necessarily guarantee a start at Tottenham Hotspur, and I think he would at Man United.
Yeah, we just did a scout report, just shot a scout report. It's out this week on who Manchester United should buy in January, and we've gone for Grimaldo from Benfica. We've gone for 4 other players. Find out when you tune in.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
I didn't want to spill the beans, but I'm just so keen. I don't think the top sides, they don't have a lot of holes in, do they? Maybe Liverpool, maybe they'll go back in for Van Dijk in January because they very obviously do need defensive cover, but a lot of the top side will probably be picking up squad players, won't they? You know, Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester United, City. So I don't think it'll be very exciting.
Newcastle could spend a lot as well, though. Newcastle could spend 20-30 million on a player.
Maybe more so on the continent. Maybe if Real Madrid are still chasing Barcelona by 8 points, they'll go on a madness, do something interesting. Not sure who they could bring in. Maybe they'll make Mauro Icardi the next £100 million player if he carries on this form. Who knows? Maybe Dybala will not go there now, stay at Juventus. Next question.
Yeah.
Gordon Yups has it, and he asks, was Jose Mourinho right to stop City celebrations, or is he just a charmless man?
Is he just a charmless man?
He's
he probably. Look, none of us know what went on behind the scenes, so we're not in the best place to comment. But all I'll say is that Jose Mourinho, in the past, plenty of times has celebrated very visibly in front of opposition players, opposition fans. I remember him running on the pitch doing the one-finger gesture for Inter Milan against Barcelona and getting pulled off by Valdez. So, not like that. I don't really think he's got anything to complain about. I think City have every right to celebrate however they want.
It's all part of his repertoire, isn't it? Just to
deflect.
Yeah, it's very boring as a neutral.
Everybody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about the result. At the end of the day, all the newspapers the next day were full of Milkgate. Nobody was talking about how he got tactically outperformed.
It's just childish.
It is rubbish. Next question.
Next question comes from Mo Stack, and they ask, who do you think will make the quarterfinals of the Champions League?
Let's get the draw up. Let me Google the draw.
There's been some really interesting draws in the last 16. I'm very glad that PSG avoided both Barcelona and Chelsea, even though they've served up some memorable ties.
They got Madrid, didn't they?
Yeah, they did get Madrid, which makes sort of everyone else's chances. Well, everyone else. People like Bayern, people like Barca, really strengthens their chance, doesn't it, of winning it? But Manchester City must be looking.
Should we do game by game?
The Tottenham and PSG games are the only ones I think that are tough to call.
So, firstly, Tottenham Juventus. Who do we think goes through from that game?
Tottenham.
Really? You think they beat Juventus?
I really do.
I think Juventus
every day of the week. I just think the experience in that Juventus side will get them over a one-legged affair.
Although they've not defensively not been as sound this season. Every chance.
Very true. Basel
On
City has to be City, doesn't it?
Yep.
Liverpool Porto.
Liverpool.
Just though, very unconvinced about Liverpool as well. I think Liverpool have serious issues at the back. I think they could implode at big occasions.
Didn't Porto concede 4 to RB Leipzig or 3, and then
I think so. But then
Liverpool have got so much in attack.
Should have enough Liverpool there. Sevilla United. I think United will win that.
Yeah.
Madrid PSG. Very hard to call.
This was the one that I find most difficult to call.
I think I'll go PSG. Just think Madrid aren't on the best form, and if there's ever a time to play them, it's probably this season.
But what about your argument about experience?
PSG have got some fairly experienced players as well.
You could argue that they don't in terms of winning knockout games in the Champions League to anything like the same extent.
I think there's a big learning curve.
If that's your argument,
I think there's a big learning curve to be taken from last year's experience as well at Barcelona. I don't think you'll see anything like that this year. And they probably should have beaten Barcelona if it were not for Neymar's genius.
And luck.
I mean, they were very unfortunate to lose 3-1 away from home against Bayern. People painted that as redemption, Bayern's redemption after being thrashed in Paris. But I think expected goals had that down at a fairly even game, and I watched it and Neymar missed some gilt-edged chances. If they can theoretically beat a team like Bayern quite convincingly over 2 legs in the group stage, I don't see why they can't do it to Real Madrid. I think PSG have the edge at this moment in time.
Roma versus Shakhtar.
Roma versus
Roma
Shakhtar.
for me.
It's always hard to call with
Roma
Shakhtar.
Roma are coming into form.
Yeah.
Shakhtar are a good side.
Unknown entity, aren't they? And is it Bernard who's playing out of his
Been there for
skin
ages,
for
isn't
them?
he?
He's been there for so
Been there
long.
for years.
Yeah, with Roma, great defence.
Chelsea, Barcelona as well.
Barca.
Chelsea for me.
Messi's genius. Will just carry them over the
Just
edge.
got a bit of Conte,
Conte
yeah.
is so much better than Valverde as well. So much better.
Some big debate there. Bayern Munich, Besiktas is the last.
What are
one.
the people saying in the comments?
Let's have a look at the comments. What are the people saying? PSG are going to hammer Real, says Raheem Brown.
Right.
Don't think they'll hammer him. Will Zidane or Emery be sacked if they lose their tie? That's from Rob Brooks.
Quite possibly at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. Anyway, right, let's go to the next question because my voice is failing me.
Okay, this one is with Napoli second place in the league. Have they actually got a good chance of winning it this season?
What?
Yes.
With Napoli in second, have they got a good chance of winning it? I
They're a
would
point
hazard
behind.
a guess as to say yes.
Yeah.
But if we're going to flesh it out a little bit, I am concerned about their recent form. Drew with Fiorentina. Mertens is sort of on a bit of a dry run after being on a very hot streak for a number of games. Insigne is out with a little injury. Zielinski's a very good player, but I don't think he's quite as decisive as Insigne. But you know, Jorginho, Alan still got a very, very good starting lineup. Hamzik not in great form either. So if those boys, you know, pick up, then they'll start turning over teams again. First time, in fact, that 0-0 draw with Fiorentina, the first time that Napoli haven't scored in back-to-back games under Maurizio Sarri. So
I think
little blip.
I think the Europa League might just kill them in Serie A a little bit. Depends how serious
Do
they're
you not think
taking it.
dropping out of the Champions League will help them and they'll just feel the B team for the?
Yeah, I'm pretty certain.
I don't think they'll feel the beat him. I think he might go quite seriously at the Europa League.
I don't think they will when they've got a chance of winning the Champions League. Like, there's,
Sorry,
I was going to say rumours, but actually, like, it's pretty well attested that the squad got together this summer and said, basically, nobody's leaving. Like, we're all going to stick together for one more year and have a really good try at the Scudetto. And after that, people might move on.
Yeah.
So I think
Don't the Mafia pick who leaves Napoli?
I think that it depends how you want to leave. You know, like if you want to leave in a body bag. But they, I think they've got more depth than Inter certainly, and I also don't trust Juve. So I think that they're still probably the favourites.
Come on.
Next question.
Next question comes from Imran Uzair, and he asks, is Pep Guardiola a better manager than Sir Alex Ferguson? Why or why not?
No, he's not a better manager than Sir Alex Ferguson. Purely because Sir Alex Ferguson had the ability to. Well, we haven't. It's like ask us to predict the future. Sir Alex Ferguson could rebuild the same team over and over and over again and adapt to different competitions and different managers that were put in front of him and teams that were put in front of him. Yet to see whether Pep can do that at one team over a number of years. But
It's a little bit like the argument, like who's better, Messi or Ronaldo? I mean, Messi, but who's better, Messi or Ronaldo, sort of thing, isn't it? Where they've both got very different qualities, and you should probably kind of just enjoy the strengths of their game managerial styles or whatever. But I don't think Pep will have the longevity that Alex Ferguson had because he experiences burnout pretty quickly, doesn't he? He said he wanted to manage in Brazil and then retire by the time he's what? I'm not sure, but I don't think he sees himself in it for the long run. And Sir Alex Ferguson was very sort of less maybe not inspirational, less kind of tactically astute, but more businessman-like. He's a very good delegator, wasn't he? But it's a very hard question to address.
Danny Linian says Pep is way better as he has proved with every club. Well, say that, Danny. I mean, Ferguson did win the European Cup with Aberdeen. But
Well, Cup Winners' Cup, yeah. Fergie beat Real Madrid with Aberdeen, so
I mean,
it's pretty good.
it's not too bad, is it? Let's get the next question anyway.
This one comes from Zachy Bacon, great name. And he asks, make a five-a-side team for your own
Zach's two
club.
favourite things.
You're allowed to use past and present players.
For our own clubs. Pato, you go first.
I have to have a real keeper. All right, Seaman in goal. Definitely Cazorla, good in tight places. Vieira, Bergkamp, classic technique. Henry up front, clearly. And now I need a defender of some kind.
Sol.
Yeah, probably go Sol. Because Tony Adams is just such a tool.
You gonna go?
Yeah.
Was that 5? I just said a bunch of people.
Goalkeeper, Artur Burak, the holy goalie. What a man.
Oh my God.
Once stopped a woman being mugged in a park in Glasgow.
And then mugged her himself.
Well. Artur Burak. I mean, this is from my time as a Celtic fan. I could pick we've had a number of legendary goalkeepers. Henrik Larsson up front. Nakamura marauding the midfield. Need a hard man in there. Don't know, maybe Neil Lennon and Alan Thompson. Bobo Bowdy at the back, the same vein as Sol Campbell. No one's getting past him. He could lie down on a five-a-side pitch and starfish, and you couldn't get around him. That's about 5 players roughly, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll go De Gea, Ferdinand, Scholes, Rooney and Ronaldo. That'll be mine.
That's pretty good.
I think I win just because I had 6 players. So
Yeah. Most definitely. Classic Van Straan, always cheating. Right, next question.
Better it.
Next question comes from Richard Wright, and he asks, given their slight dip in form and or wage structure, will we see an exodus at Spurs in the near future?
Probably not, just because they're all on such long contracts. Like, yeah, they will clamour for higher wages. That would definitely be a big issue. Spurs are pretty much going to have to double their wage bill to keep people happy, as well as obviously signing top-class players. If they want to do that, they're going to have to pay top-class wages. But pretty much over the last couple of seasons, they've signed everyone up for a long, long time. We're talking about Danny Rose leaving. The Spurs don't need to sell. They've got him lined up, I think, until 2020, 2021. Yeah. So there will be problems at Spurs if they don't change their wage structure. But for the time being, they can just say to people, no, you've got a contract.
I think it will all fall apart when Pochettino leaves. I
don't think he will leave,
leaves, he's definitely going to go.
I'd love him to leave. I hope he does. But the pessimist in me, which is like all of me, obviously, like says that he will stay forever. But
if he does go, then that's it.
Oh yeah. Because there's definitely a sort of cult of Pochettino,
100%.
right? They've all bought into him. You see him with his arm around the pit. Like they love him. He's improved them so much.
And that's why I think he'll get rid of Danny Rose. I think he likes that sort of tight. He doesn't like any sort of problems in the dressing room. And I think Danny Rose poses a fairly chunky one.
Chunky one?
Chunky?
A thick one.
Yeah, thick. Right, next question.
Double C.
This one
Social Corner.
comes from Ozzy. Who is the most vain member of Football Daily?
Is that a serious question?
Who do you think? In the comments below.
Me.
Actually, can I just say, Peter Dorman is with a good shout, our resident Northern Irishman who gets highlights in his hair, straightens his hair every single morning, and is wearing a necklace.
I'm actually nowhere near those levels.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think
and
Peter
people
Dorman.
think I spend ages on my hair. I rock up at work without it done, disappear into the toilet for 2 minutes, and I get it.
And what's really nice about
22,
Pete as well is before we came in, he actually agreed to do a song for us because he sings at weddings.
What was it? Purple Rain.
Purple Rain.
Wayne.
So go on, looking forward to
Wayne
it, Pete.
as well.
Go on, mate.
Do you want another question then?
Yeah, come on.
Oh,
Give me another question. Next question comes from Joe Future, and he asks, can Valencia shock La Liga and finish above Madrid?
Probably not.
I have watched them for a full 90 minutes on 3 occasions this season, and I've been very impressed with them in every department. I like their fullbacks. For some reason, Zamoni Zaza looks like Mandzukic at the moment, like an extremely impressive defensive forward. He's getting the best out of Jeffrey Kondogbia. Kondogbia is putting up insane numbers on loan from Inter. Guedes, who you mentioned earlier, is playing really well for them out in the wing. I like Santi Mina. I think he's on the bench though. I think they're a couple of big injuries away from being in serious trouble, but that might be an unfair comment to level at them because a lot of big sides would be, but again, I'm going to use the saying they are more than the sum of their parts. Marcelino, he got the same out of Villarreal. I think he got 2 top 4 finishes with them, maybe. He definitely led them to the Champions League at least once. I think Champions League would be a phenomenal achievement this season. And it means that someone like Sevilla would miss out. So I think they should be, the fans at the Mestalla would be highly grateful for Champions League football. But finishing above one of the Madrids, very realistic. Although Atletico are picking up form. So are Real, so ominous.
Pretty comprehensive that. Right, next question.
Well, in comments, a lot of people have said Pato looks like the most vain.
Because you're smug.
I really disagree. Pato. He doesn't care.
You look after your beard.
I've done nothing to my beard in 2 weeks. No.
Very shiny.
No. I mean, like, just because I don't wear like football shirts around the office.
Right, let's get the next question then.
Yes, the question comes from G Bracker 202, and he says, Berkey just isn't good enough for Dortmund. Who should they get to replace him?
Literally anyone
We
with
said
2
Jack
hands
Butland,
and a
didn't
head.
we? On the scout report.
Yeah, Jack Butland would be good.
wrote that one.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of money, but I would love to see Jack Butland go there. Lafont, like I said, for Arsenal, obviously he'd be good. Any young keeper who's got decent feet and can put his hand in front of a football would be like a massive improvement.
What about if he didn't go? What about like having a stab at maybe something like Claudio Bravo?
Too old.
Too old?
Berkey's a good shot.
He'd be a great fit for them. But
Yeah,
too old.
very good on the ball. Obviously needs to be on for City.
Berkey's a decent shot stopper. He strikes me as a bit of a number 2. I think he's got a bit of the Sergio Romero about him. How he can look phenomenal in certain games. I think against Real Madrid,
Love Sergio Romero.
he made like 7-8 saves in a game, and they still lost 3-1. But again, beating his near post twice. I don't have a better answer than Jack Butland, to be honest. They can have Craig Gordon for free if they want. His kicking's horrible.
What about Kiko Casilla? He doesn't seem to get.
Yeah, Kiko Casilla would be good.
How
Sergio
old's
Rico
Kiko
would be
Casilla these
good. I think he's still quite young.
Yeah.
But I couldn't swear to it. And of
Enrico
course,
from
Kepa Arrizabalaga from
That pronunciation.
Was that a word or a
Was that a
spell?
word?
from Athletic Club. The guy who Real Madrid are gonna try and sign in January from Bilbao. He'd be really, really good for them as well.
I have read about
A
it.
couple of people, my voice, in the comments saying Trap. Danny Linehan and Concentration Production says Trap.
Kevin Trapp?
Kaylor Navas says Moses Lack.
Moses Lack?
Yeah.
If they could get
What,
Keylor
David
Navas, that'd be
Moyes?
amazing.
Yeah, so keep the suggestions coming and the comments and the questions because we've got about 15 minutes left. So let's get going. Next question.
Next question comes from Timothy Lacoste, and he asks...
Oh, really? Big fan.
Big fan of your work, Jimmy. Who is the most plastic football fan in the office?
Oh.
Probably me, isn't it? I suppose.
Probably Zach.
Plastic in that we don't go to games. I mean, we watch an awful lot of football. It's quite hard for me to get to Glasgow.
Armchair supporter, yeah.
I mean, I went to Millwall Burton Albion the other day. I think that's dedication to the game.
I think the fact that you support Celtic immediately rules you out of this question.
What about Serge supporting PSG?
Yeah, Serge.
From afar, from
Serge,
another country.
Who you will have seen from Central Defensive fame for Football Daily, or shame, as it should have been. Absolutely disgraceful performance. Rumours that he supports PSG.
He's also on Teammates on FDFC, so if you've not been to our new channel,
Yeah,
go and check Serge
Go and watch
out.
it. Go and watch it.
After
But yeah,
this.
probably Serge. Next question.
This one comes from Ned, and he asks, the universal opinion on Pep Guardiola is that he's having a great season, but is every other team making them look better?
No, he's having a great season. He's breaking every record.
I think they're on.
Both can be true.
Aren't they on for like 110 points, Pato?
Currently, they've dropped 2 points. Yeah.
Yeah,
So if
it's
they do that
ridiculous.
over the second half of the season,
I think they've broken the
they'll
most
score
goals scored.
114 goals. They'll concede 26, and they'll finish on 110 points.
I certainly
Which would be
think,
good.
Yeah.
That'd be a good
Not too
season.
I certainly think a couple of teams could be closer.
Sure. Yeah.
United had a couple of bad results.
Chelsea definitely.
After that 10-game period, and they definitely Chelsea. Liverpool,
Spurs.
if Liverpool weren't so Liverpool-y about going have a fantastic record against the top 6 and then draw with Southampton and lose to Burnley or something.
Yeah. But even they got blown away by City, didn't they, after the injury? Was it 5-1?
There's a man was sent off.
Oh yeah, Sadio Mane was sent off.
If they win the league, then nobody will remember how bad the other teams were. Like, there were plenty of seasons when Man United won the league just by being the only competent side in the league, and that is sometimes enough. Like, no one will care. Flags fly forever.
Yeah, 15 minutes left then. Keep the comments and the questions flowing, and don't forget to click the link in the description if you want to get involved in our Colossus Bet Syndicate. Last weekend, We doubled everyone's money that was involved, so fingers crossed we can do it again. Let's get the next question.
Next question comes from Gian Domencio de Girolamo.
Oh, great pronunciation.
Good effort.
And he says, or she, can Maurizio Sarri coach a team like Barcelona or City?
Yes.
Yes.
Maurizio Sarri.
I'd love to see him coach Barcelona.
Yeah, that'd
Can
be-
you imagine?
Phenomenal.
Quality.
Oh,
Imagine him with Messi.
oh.
That would be nice. But the simple answer is yes, isn't it?
Yeah, 4.
Yeah. 4.
Next
If
question.
he gets like 10 goals out of Callejon, he'll get 150 out of Messi. It'd be amazing. Callejon's terrible.
He's alright.
No, he's terrible.
Next question then.
Okay, as we're talking about Messi, Incognito says, if Messi got injured, would Barcelona be able to retain their current form?
I mean, they've been very reliant on this season. Suarez was not banging at the start of the season. Messi's already scored 14 in La Liga. I think Suarez is catching up now. He's on 7. If Messi and Dembele were both to be injured, not great. At the same time, that is sorry, because obviously Dembele is already injured. Their 4-4-2 is kind of working for them at the moment. Valverde, I know you don't particularly rate him, but he's made some very good substitutions in the game I've watched. He's impacted a lot of games with, and you just said about Maurizio Sarri with Callejon. He's getting decent performances out of Denis Suarez, out of Deulofeu, who
Paco Alcácer as well.
Paco Alcácer. Messi, I've never seen him look at someone on the pitch the way he looks at Deulofeu, as if to say, like, why aren't you Neymar? He's so upset that he's playing with him. So yeah, if they had to rely on those players for an extended period of time, they'd be okay against everyone else but the top 4. So it depends what run of games they have. I know that's a bit of a boring answer, but I think that they'd struggle, particularly in the Champions League. Yeah.
Next question.
Next question comes from CJ Fresh, and they ask, imagine you're a footballer, now choose a song that gets you hyped up before the game.
Ooh.
You've gone to gauge our reaction. You've gone, oh God, I better pick one now.
This is rough.
Really tough one.
What do you mean imagine? Have you not seen EFD versus FD? We won
Imagine
5-3.
you're a decent footballer.
God, thank you. I got cramp in both calves after 60 minutes. That was a new sensation. I like a bit of, bit of Kasabian being a Leicester boy. Zach, don't start with your music taste.
Well, he's
Jesus
All right,
Christ.
yeah, Ed Sheeran over there, read out, wouldn't you?
So I'm sticking with my boys from the Blue.
Oh, is it my turn? Great.
Bit of Beethoven.
He's buzzing, isn't he?
Probably go. I don't know. You want to go something that's like high energy or just like or fun. So I'd probably go like
Both of them.
I listen to hip hop mostly, so I'd probably go like something by Action Bronson or Death Grips. Actually, Death Grips would get you
Bit of
really
Wu-Tang.
really hyped. Yeah, Wu-Tang would be good as well. Protect your neck. There you go. There's your answer.
Robbie Williams, Angels, every day.
Yeah.
Just keep
You
pumping
think
it
he's kidding? He
I would.
cries
He's
before
the
most
sad thing
matches.
is,
That gets me
he's
going,
The sad thing
emotional.
is, you've spent that entire time coming up with that joke, and that's the best you could come up
I
with.
didn't. Yeah, you've killed me.
Rubbish.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely had me on toast. Just battered me up. Right, next
Dreadful.
question.
Jim the Snail has our next question, and he asks, what do you think of Pep's progress with English players like Sterling, Delph, etc.?
Sterling, Delph,
Etc.
Stones.
John Stones, yeah. Mate, Sterling has been incredible this season, hasn't he?
Run
We've
out
said
of
it before.
superlatives, haven't
He's won them 14 points with his late goals this season. I think that's 35% of their total haul. He's turning him into a match winner when he was in very real danger of sort of petering out under the wrong coach, maybe. A little bit Theo Walcott-esque, but that is just a bit of lazy journalism from me. And John Stones. I always thought John Stones was going to be this player.
Yeah.
But people have given him a little bit more leeway, and maybe they've been a bit more generous in their praise because he plays under Pep, because he's adjusted so well to a Pep system, I should say. Like a 95% pass accuracy? Kid's playing the most passes in the Premier League, the most accurate passes at least. It can only bode well for the national setup, but Pochettino as well, Pato, and equally as good a job with young English talent.
I don't really know why we're talking about English talent in particular. Like, I don't think Pep necessarily
Because
thinks
that's
about
what
it that way.
the fan has.
Yeah, but I think that's a dumb
hour.
question. Like, I think,
Oh,
like,
cool
why
now.
does it matter what he's doing?
It's on you.
Like, I don't think Pep thinks, right, well, I better do well with the English players or they won't like me here. Like, what he's done with Fabian Delph is remarkable. To be honest, Raheem Sterling had this talent before. Like, it's always been there, and he had it when he was 19. So now he's hitting 22. He should be showing it. Pep has definitely improved him, but I don't know, like Pep's just great at developing young players. I mean, the question earlier about Alex Ferguson versus Pep, where Pep is better than Ferguson, I think, is probably in the transfer market. Admittedly, he has infinite money, but Ferguson made some weird signings and managed to just get every last drop of talent out of everyone, whereas Pep can pick talent and then develop them mostly.
Yeah, Ferguson was much better at building a youth setup to like churn players out of, wasn't it?
I like the little anecdotes with Pep, you know, where he spends so much time one-on-one with players, like he goes above and beyond to improve them, especially players that he has faith in, like I think it was Højbjerg, wasn't it, at Bayern, didn't really come to fruition, but Sergio Busquets at Barcelona, one of the first things he did was bring him through from the reserve side, wasn't it? So
I'd love to see him do it with Phil Foden. I really think Phil Foden, I think everybody we've spoken to has kind of said Phil Foden is incredible at the academy. He kind of draws crowds, I think somebody you spoke to said. So
is Brahim Diaz as well?
Yeah, Brahim Diaz as well. But
Brandon Barker too.
I just can't wait for summer when Gareth Southgate ruins all these players that have been outperforming themselves in the Premier League. So we're all looking forward to that. Cheers, Gareth. We got 10 minutes left though, so let's go quick fire questions. How many we got?
Next question comes from Daniel Parente Rodriguez, and he asks, what defender should Barcelona pick up for the leaving Mascherano?
Oh, Mascherano's gone in January apparently.
That was our title on Football Mundial. Go and watch that as well. Need the views.
Mauricio Lemos from Las Palmas.
Ooh, that's an outside shout, isn't it? So Mascherano's not necessarily been playing, but the fact that Vermaelen is a star is a little bit of an issue, right? Doesn't look like the player he once was. More importantly, they need Umtiti to come back, or they might need two central defenders if Mascherano leaves.
Quickfire questions.
Jonathan Tah. I always say
that's
Jonathan
a great
Tah.
shout.
Nice.
No, I love that shout.
I'll go Laporte. Did he play under Valverde? He did, didn't he?
Yeah, he's been injured though, hasn't he?
Been injured,
Laporte,
but he's back now though, hey? So I'll maybe have a stab in the duck at him. Great with his feet.
Quick fire time. So now this one comes from Nosy. Do you have any family Christmas traditions?
Wow, quick fire question. I don't know. Sunday roast? No, sorry, Christmas dinner?
No.
No, I don't really know. Pat?
All the usual ones.
Yeah.
Presents.
Warehouse,
Like, that's one of them.
Crackers. Next question. Rubbish question.
Next question comes from Mbappe de Madrid, and they ask, who will win El Clasico?
Where is it?
It's in Real Madrid. It's in Real Madrid.
It's in Real
Or just Madrid, as it's commonly known.
Madrid.
The real Madrid.
Madrid will win it. Or it'll be a draw.
Draw.
Barcelona then, just to be devil's advocate.
Marcus asks, who do you think is going to be better, Phil Foden or Gomez at Manchester United?
Phil Foden, I think, is slightly ahead of the game. Although Gomez was captain, I think, of the under-17 side, I think Phil Foden's got
Way too early to call them.
They're like 17 and 16,
why would you
right?
want to? I think that's part of the problem. Let's just enjoy the fact that they're, young, burgeoning talents.
Yeah, next question.
Next question comes from DJ8 Daniel, who asks, who is the best bargain signing in the last 10 years?
Oh my god.
In the last 10
these aren't
years,
quick fire questions, are they? Kante.
Asensio.
Yeah, I agree. Kante, what a signing, 35 mil, outrageous.
No, that's one about before at Leicester, but okay.
Which African country could win the World Cup in 2018? And that comes from Joker.
Who's in there? Egypt, Nigeria, Senegal, Tunisia,
Morocco.
None of them.
Stand any chance at all.
Egypt and Nigeria probably at the forefront for me.
I'd love Nigeria to do it. I would love it.
For one of them to get to the quarters or semis would be great, right?
That would be quality.
Not a semi-finalist. I don't want to say ever.
No, ever.
Ever. I do want to say ever.
Next question then.
Next question comes from Carl Webster, who asks, who is the best player outside of Europe's top leagues?
Ooh.
Scott Brown, next.
Outside of Europe's top 5 leagues, we said
Yeah.
here. Yeah, well, Scott Brown then. Kieran Tierney maybe.
Kieran Tierney's pretty good. Pretty damn good. Top 5. Does that include Portugal?
Don't know. No, I think it doesn't include Portugal, does it?
Because there's a lot of talent in Portugal. Lacks work permits. Scott Brown, next question.
Oh, God.
5 minutes left, and make sure you keep the questions coming. And this one comes from Jim10, #FanHour. How many foreign languages can you speak?
How many foreign languages can we speak? I can't speak. Pat, you can speak Latin.
You can barely speak English.
Speak Latin, go on.
You don't speak Latin.
Well, you can write Latin.
It's a written language. No one speaks it anymore. But yeah, Latin and ancient Greek.
I can get by in France.
Yeah, French and German I can speak fluently almost.
Go on.
Bonjour, ça va?
Fluid in
Ça va
his-
bien,
His
merci.
French and German are
Oui, oui.
absolutely atrocious.
Bonjour, bonsoir. Back to you.
Next question comes from Just Giroux Things, who
my
asks, who is the most underrated player from each of your respective clubs?
Underrated players at each of our respective clubs. Ashley Young at Man United.
Great shout.
Go on.
L'Oreal, probably.
Oh, God. Rogic.
Ooh. Is he getting to the World Cup of Australia or not?
Yes.
He is. Decent.
John Martinson asks, if Ronaldo, Messi and Neymar are the top 3 players in the world, who is the 4th best in your opinion?
Mbappe. I don't know. Mbappe. That's a very difficult question to come up with a quick answer for, isn't it?
David De Gea.
I think that's a pretty good shout actually.
David De Gea.
Annoyingly, Tony Kroos.
Good shout.
Ooh.
Next question comes from Cal Webster. He asks, who should United buy to play alongside Paul Pogba?
Literally.
Well,
anyone.
Matic is doing alright in there, to be fair. Didn't seem like he was too bad of a transfer. But another central midfielder. Well, I think you need a squad player. Goretzka. There you go.
Why don't you bring Pereira back from Valencia?
Again, I think
More of an
he's.
attacking mid.
I think I prefer him on loan at Valencia. He's not going to get
Matic,
anywhere near
right.
enough game time over here.
I don't think you need
At least
anyone
he's
to
developing a bit
sign
over
I prefer you to play a 3-man
to
midfield.
play next to, yeah.
Yeah. Right. Next question.
Peter Bonnen, should Zlatan start ahead of Romelu Lukaku?
No, absolutely not.
Zlatan ahead of Rom? No, definitely not.
Depends
Not
on
in
the
many
fixture.
years.
If you're going to play against a team that are going to like bunker, just sit deep the whole game. Like if you're playing at Burnley, I think Zlatan probably makes more sense. Everybody else look after.
Last time he played against Burnley, didn't he miss about 18 sitters?
Yeah, I think
He
people
would definitely.
people have
score again.
quickly forgotten how many chances Zlatan missed last season and butchered.
Yeah, but then he started scoring again. Like that happens all the time. Like there was a period when
That's
Messi,
what's going to
when
happen
Messi
with
took 80
Lukaku
shots
though.
without scoring.
Lukaku's going to do the exact same.
It's
Lukaku
fine.
will go on a
Imagine,
proper patch.
imagine Lukaku being benched after purchasing him for what, up to 90 million.
I think
Nah,
also when you're talking about that Burnley game, like I trust Zlatan to get those chances against the sitting defence more than Lukaku.
Yeah. I mean, Tom Heaton was on some sort of performance
crack.
Cocaine.
Well,
Yeah.
Sean
Allegedly.
Dyche,
Not actually on
goat
cocaine, guys.
blood crack.
goat blood crack.
Next question. Let's just shift off this topic.
Next question comes from Daniel Belden. He asks, who is the best French player?
Oh, right.
Currently,
Yeah,
I mean, Pogba's got to be in there with his shout, hasn't he? Griezmann.
And TT's not had a bad season before he's injured.
Mbappe's quite good at football.
Oh, yeah.
Dembele's
Kylian.
quite good at football.
Yeah.
On current form, I reckon, yeah, TT probably.
Yeah.
But overall, surely Greasy or Pogba.
Oh, Griezmann. Completely forgot about him.
Well, it's weird because I just said him. Listen.
Wasn't listening. That's why I don't really listen to what you say. Next question.
Someone said, Pat, you said you were a fan of hip hop. What do you think of Eminem's new album?
Absolute trash, absolute garbage.
You've not listened to the album, have you?
Like I have listened to some of it now, and it is absolutely
Have
shocking. Eminem hasn't had a good song in 15 years, maybe. I did not like Eminem when I was young,
that's a bit
and now he's absolutely dreadful. Yeah, well, you know.
Right, we've got 1 minute
Rap-
left. Let's get back
Rap
to the football.
God was
Let's get
bad
back to the
enough.
football.
Jesus.
Charlie Gardner
Recovery
asks, what has gone wrong for West Ham this season?
They've still got the same people running the club behind the scenes. That's what's gone wrong for them.
Yeah.
Cool. I have nothing more to say about West Ham.
Bad managers.
So many.
Right, we have time for one more question. And that'll be it.
JME.
Oh.
Do you think United should get rid of Mkhitaryan?
In
Yes.
January, yes, cash it.
I think it suits both player and the club. I mean, he's turning 29 soon. If they want to recuperate some of that 30 million, it's going to have to be in January. And he's not been in the last few matchday squads, has he? So, not looking good.
Yeah.
Yeah, sell him. Anyway, that's all the time we've got for on this episode of Fan Hour. Thanks very much for getting your questions in. Before you do anything else, I am a bit sweaty. These lights just absolutely killing me. Make sure you click the link in the description below to go over and sign up to Colossus Bets. Like we said, we're giving you a shot at £800,000 from just 20 pence. It's our final week. It's another free to play for anyone that joins the syndicate. Should be a lot of fun. We've gone for Watford in there as well. Hopefully we can double your money like we did last week. Fingers crossed, lads. But anyway, thanks very much for watching. Cheers, guys. Bye. Yeah, all of that. Sign off in it.